G'day, Stu here from UAVfutures, and today I'm having too much fun. But today, what we're going to be checking out is these goggles right here. These are the Marvel 2 or the Marvel Vision 2s, and a shout out to Phaser FPV for sending these down. I don't even know if these are out yet. I'll link them down below anyway. But the reason these are so excited are because these are like a full-featured box-style goggle, but you actually get this little screen that clips in the front, and it's got things like DVR, HDMI input, diversity, so pretty cool right here. You simply stick it in. You simply put it at the front somehow. It's a bit difficult to do. Clip this up and you're ready to rock and roll. Anyway, so what we're going to be doing, we're going to be sticking these on the bench, breaking them down, looking at its features, sort of how it goes together, and then most importantly, taking it out to the field, flying it around, showing you guys some DVR, and also getting Grumpy Trev to check it out as well. Anyway, enough lambling from me. Let's stick it on the bench and get started. Alrighty, so here's everything on the bench, and what I do want to point out, there is an instruction manual that came with this, but I have no idea in this messy sort of studio where that is at the moment. So you do get some instructions, and I'm not 100% sure if these are the original antennas that come with it, because I think this was a pretty early version, so just have to double check what sort of antennas that you get. Anyway, let's have a look at the actual unit. So pretty simple, you know, you kind of get, this one's a little bit different because you get some really simple components. So you've got, I guess, your plastic shell, then you've got your FPV screen, you've got your little power cable, which I will talk about that in a little bit as well, and then you've got your two antennas. So I'll get the antennas out of the way because they're nothing special. It would be nice if they could send us like a directional or some patch antennas, and that's definitely what I used when I was out flying around. But these are sort of the two main parts. I guess very quickly we can talk about this. This is your little power lead. It simply plugs in. It can take like a 5, I think up to a 5S LiPo or something like that. It's got a huge voltage range anyway, which is fantastic. But what I don't like, why is it this stupid connection right here? I have no idea, you know, what. Well, I actually went out to the field and look, out of all the things I could have left at home, I left this bit at home. I was ready for the review setup, had them on my head, went to plug them in, realized that I didn't have this cord. So really, I would like it if this just had maybe like an XT30 or an XT60 connector in the bottom. That would be perfect. But, or at least one of the Fat Sharks or something like that, one of those little barrel pins. That'd be better than this strange, I guess, unique or proprietary, whatever this connector is right here. I found that bit a little bit frustrating. Anyway, well, that's enough with the gripes. Let's get on to have a look at the features of this goggle. The first and probably the most exciting part about this goggle, its main feature is that you can simply detach this part. You know, you can put your screen in, clip it up, and then you're ready to rock and roll. So you've actually got your FPV goggle inside there, and if you wanted to use it as a ground station, that part simply tops off, or you can hand this to somebody else and they can have a look at what you're doing. Now, I think this is kind of great because it actually, you could really use this thing for a ground station, or if you wanted to use some backup goggles or sort of share someone with a ride along, you can simply take it off your ground station, stick it in here, and then you're ready to rock and roll. But here's my biggest gripe with that part. This is all great, but if you pick, that happens. You pick it up, this latch right here, I'm going to have to tape this down because this latch comes out ever so easily, and it really, that's not good. You don't want to be smashing your screen because this is the expensive part. You don't want to be smashing this on the ground. So that part's a little bit disappointing. I definitely think you're going to need to tape that up or come up with a better mounting solution because at the moment, that part is really junk. Now what we'll probably do, we'll very quickly talk about the goggle part because that's not too exciting, and then we'll finish it up and we'll have a look at all the features of the screen, which I actually think is pretty good. So you can see we've got a nice big screen in there, a really big lens that should magnify it up quite easily. Look, it feels pretty light, so let's weigh the whole thing. Actually, we'll weigh all of it together because it's all important. You're going to be wearing it on your face. So there's my new scales. I'm going to put this on here. So 235 grams. With that, that's 367 grams, so that's starting to get a little bit heavy. Then don't forget, you've also got to put a normal LiPo on here. So even though you're using that long cord, you do have to hang it somewhere, and there's no real spot to hang it. So I'm going to put this LiPo on. So you're getting about 460 grams, depending on where you put the LiPo. Was it on the side of your head? Are you balancing it at the back? But that's starting to get a little bit heavy, especially when the front right here is kind of a long goggle. Like your screen is all the way out the front right here. That's going to be hanging off the front of your head, and I think that that's going to cause a little bit of issue, especially because you don't have too much foam around the outside. It does feel quite nice, but it definitely, I do think there are some comfier options out there. At least you have this strap right here. You can hang some of the weight off the top of your head, which I think is good. but it's definitely, in my opinion, not going to be as comfortable as, say, the Eachine Goggle 2s, which I think were a very, very comfortable box style, or some of those smaller Fat Shark style of goggles. So that's pretty much the actual case there, or the shell. Let's have a look. Let's talk about the screen. You can see it's got diversity, which is fantastic. You've got some SMA adapters at the top, so you can put on like a directional antenna and also a circular polarized antenna. I think you can record some DVR. You've got a really intuitive, so 4-way menu button right here, so you can go up, you know, any direction, as well as press that in, which makes navigating the menu very, very easily. Hopefully you guys can see that. You've got an SD card right here. You've got an AV out and AV in, so it's a very feature-packed little screen, which I really like. And then to make it even better, you can also hook this up with a HDMI input. So if you wanted to practice on a simulator or something like that, you could do this with these goggles. So I think as far as the screen goes, it's really, really cool. Now, there are some features I want to show you when you're flying around. So you do get a bit of volume. Hopefully I've got the volume turned down. Where's the on button? I think you press it at the back. There we go. And then we can have a look at some of its features. So it tells you what channel you're on, which is great, and also the frequency, which I think is a bit of a must. To start your DVR recording, you can click up here. I do like at the top, now this is here the whole time you're flying around. You've got your antenna sort of receptions, you've got your channel, and you've also got a bit of a timer, and it does tell you the battery voltage of your goggles, which is fantastic. This part here starts your DVR recording, I believe. And if I want to go into the menu, you can see here a very easy menu to go through. And the one part, you've also got some volume, so you can actually fly around. I'm not going to turn it up for obvious reasons, because it would be very loud getting all that static. But overall, look, it's a pretty feature-packed little screen. I like what it's doing. I like how you can put HDMI in here and the DVR. I think it's definitely doing the right thing, and the resolution's pretty good. But is that going to be enough to sort of make this goggle, it's got to be comfortable as well, is that going to be enough to knock something off, say, like the Eachine Goggle 2, which I was really a big fan of? And just for reference, this was the Eachine Goggle 2, so if you're after these ones, these were sort of one of my favourite picks, but these didn't have DVR. So that's one thing that the Marvel 2s have over this one. There's no DVR in this one, but comfortable-wise, these things were super comfy. But that's enough rambling with it on the bench. The most important part is how does it fly, what's it like, so let's take it out to the field. I'll fly around, I'll show you some DVR, and then we'll also get Grumpy Trev to check it out as well. So anyway, let's cut down to the field in 3, 2, 1. Alrighty, down here in the field, feeling like Iron Man with the Marvel version 2s, cords running everywhere. But what we're going to be doing, I'm going to be flying around. I'll show you guys some DVR and also give you my impressions. Now, what I do want to mention is just these sitting on my head, they're actually better than I thought they were going to be. I definitely can feel that weight, but one of my favorite features, just when I was mucking around with the menu just before, it was super quick to sort of log in and sort of scan through the channels. The menu felt really intuitive and super easy thanks to this button right here. So that's definitely a massive plus. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's actually fly around, record some DVR, and see how they go. Then we'll also give it to Grumpy Trev and see what he thinks. Okay, so a very big, bright screen. It's good how you can definitely, everything's very, very clear, and it's got a really nice digital readout. It shows you your diversity reception up the top and your channel very, very clearly. And also shows you that you're actually recording, which I'm a bit of a fan of as well. The colors look awesome. I'm not getting too much breakup. I've seen worse. Breakup in really unpredictable places, so I don't know what's going on with that. Regarding the comfort, I definitely can feel the weight of them. So that's something, if you're going to be wearing these all day, I don't know if they'd actually be that comfortable. I definitely think there's some worse goggles out there, so they're definitely not the worst goggles, but they're also probably not my favorite. I'm not finding the image too bad whatsoever. I'm finding it pretty in focus. It's nice to have DVR, and I guess if you're going to use the HDMI input, that, you know, that's nice if you're going to fly a Phantom. I'm never really going to use that anyway though. The 16:9, that part doesn't, you know, that part's pretty normal for a standard box goggle. Look, they're not, I think overall these are just a pretty average goggle. They're not bad, but they're also not fantastic. So definitely if you can pick these up for a cheap price, I think you know, you might be in for a bit of a bargain. Otherwise, if they're, you know, expensive, I would say give them a miss. Anyway, I'm going to bring it in for a landing, then we'll check out some DVR and we'll see what Grumpy Trev thinks. Alrighty, so I can actually feel it behind my ears and on the top of my head. And before we roll that DVR, it might not be apparent, but something I did notice towards the end there, I couldn't actually see my OSD, so it must be doing something to the screen image. Maybe it's the aspect ratio or something like that. But my voltage and my tag were actually getting cut off. Anyway, and then see what Grumpy Trev thinks. Alrighty, Grumpy Trev, what do you reckon of the Marvel Vision 2s?
Well, they look nice. Pity about this faceplate here. That's well, we've got the tape there. That falls out. Everything falls out. Well, they're better comfortable sitting on a razor blade, I can tell you that.
Not a fan of the comfort?
Nah, they're terrible. A little bit out of focus for me. Someone with young eyes would be all right. Well, colours are nice. You've got 2 antennas on this thing.
Yep.
It's got diversity.
Yep.
Well, that's pretty crap as well. Oh, look, they're all right, but I really think you get better value for money on getting something else. Those other headsets work really well here, and this thing's just dropping out a little bit. I'd be inclined to just look at what else is about at the same time. Yeah, these are really hit and miss.
What would you give? What's the Grumpy Trev rating out of 10?
Probably give these a 5. That's about all they're worth. They're not crap. They're all right, but I really do think you could get better. That screen is very hard for me to focus on. It's focused there, but here, oh, even there's all right, but when they're on your head, you can't see. It's very hard to fly with.
Alrighty, so there it is. There's my review of the Marvel Vision Goggle 2s, or the Marvel Vision goggles, and I think I'm just going to put it out there. There's some things I like about it and some things I don't, so it's a bit hit and miss. I love the screen, I love the DVR, the HDMI, the menu, the diversity, even though the reception wasn't the greatest, but I really don't like the headset option. I don't think that fits on too well. I've definitely had some comfier ones, and this part needs a massive redesign, so I'm probably going to be keeping it for the screen, but I guess overall, for the price you're going to pay for this whole headset of a goggle, I think there's some better options out there if you have a bit of a shop around. Now, a bit of a shout out to Phaser FPV. I'll drop a link below because I think he was going to give a pair of these away because he's the one who sent me these. So I definitely click on that link if you're interested in the giveaway. I think it's down there anyway. If it is, I'll stick the link down below. But I hope that you guys like that. Subscribe for more FPV related content. And as always, happy flying! Alrighty, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Definitely subscribe if you're new to the channel and check out these videos. And I'm also going to leave a little link here to my Patreon page because I've got some fantastic Patreon supporters and I like to give back to them as well. So if you want to join the UAVfutures family, there's things like bonus Velcro straps, little bundles of FPV goodies and things like that that also get sent out. Anyway, happy flying!